Hello there, it's Em here with my 4-year lock update. I'm super excited to do this update and feeling very thankful today and really still excited just to be able to share this journey with you guys and reflect on what the journey is like. But before I go into that, I want to be sure to show you guys what my locks are looking like right now. So here they are. On the side. Okay. So, oh my goodness, guys. I'm trying to I made sure to, just so you guys know, number one, I'm only running on 2 hours of sleep right now for the most part. And I'm making sure to have notes so I don't get way too ahead of myself when I'm just sharing some of my thoughts about this particular journey. But I wanted to just say that it's been such an exciting journey for me because within this, I really have felt I've discovered a strength and confidence in beauty that I did not know that I had. And this journey helped me discover that. And not only that, but there were so many other like real lessons that I learned that I have found that apply to other areas of life. And this journey really kind of awakened that. And I feel very thankful for that. But before I go way too far into that, I want to show you guys what the roots are looking like, just so you guys can see some of how things are looking like a little more up close. So you guys can see my roots are looking thick and my edges, kind of let them do their thing. Because I don't retwist as much. And this was something that I started probably about 3 months into the lock journey, where I was just like, you know what, I felt more free when I wasn't retwisting as much. I like the look better. Like I like it looking thicker when I don't retwist as much. So at this point, I really only retwist for special occasions. And then after the occasion is over, I will go ahead and after the next workout, my hair can just go back to normal, and I kind of just leave it at that. I feel I don't really want to use so much time to do that when I really like the way it looks without having to retwist. So but really early on in the journey, like from the very beginning, I remember when I decided that I was going to semi-freeform, I remember a lot of people were like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, you sure you don't want to just go get some goddess locks? I mean, that'll look better. It'll go, again, it'll be done. And for me, I was just like, I remember because at that point, I was so committed to the process. And for those of you who've seen previous videos, maybe you recall, I have mentioned this before, but when I was committed to that process, and I was like, there were many times I was feeling super impatient and did not, and was just like checking all the time, like, oh my gosh, do I see any changes? What's going on? Always looking in the mirror, trying to see what was happening. But one thing was for sure, I remembered my goal and stayed focused on that. And nothing anybody said about how my hair looked messy. I had people like telling like my hair looked crazy and like it was ugly, or whatever the case may be. No one could shake my goal. I had done my research. I've done other things. I know what doesn't work for my hair. And if I keep doing those same things over and over again, expecting for my hair to be healthier, expecting see some type of change, you gotta be kidding. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So for me, I was so sure. I couldn't be shaken. And yeah, I just remembering that feeling, and that's a feeling I tend to have in a lot of different things, honestly. But I really, I felt like I still shined through it, and got like, I didn't mind walking around with like some fuzzy kind of hair and looking crazy sometimes in people's opinion. But and even honestly looking back on some of the pictures, I'm like, oh, it's a little rough. But at the same time, like at the time, it didn't matter. Like, I was excited about where things were going, and I was ready for it. And there's just something absolutely beautiful about that in the journey itself. But I'm checking my notes because I'm realizing I'm already getting way off subject. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to talk about the products that I'm using in my hair. So my routine actually over the past year has not really changed that much. I will show you the shampoos that I use. There's usually two that I have been going back and forth with. So the first one is the Dr. Bronner's Lavender Castile Soap. I like this one. I like it for the scent because I'm a huge fan of lavender. Gosh, that smells good. I'm a huge fan of lavender, and so I like to use this one. I find it so therapeutic to use it, and really, I feel like it really gets in there with my scalp and everything. But if I ever feel like Dr. Bronner's has given me too much of any type of buildup, I will go to another shampoo, which is this one. I use this one, and I will note that this is not the shampoo I really wanted as an alternative to the Dr. Bronner soap. The actual one I wanted is the Trader Joe's Tea Tree Tingle shampoo. But I realized that's the only reason I would be going to Trader Joe's, and I didn't want to, I didn't feel like going. I don't want to go to the store to get one product. So I haven't used it in a while for that reason. But I found this one. It's fine. It does, I mean, it shampoos, it does the job. I don't actually worry too much about the specific shampoo I use, especially like if I'm on a holiday or something like that or anything. I typically don't really worry about that. I'll use whatever shampoo is available. But one thing I do when I'm home and I'm washing my hair, I do follow it up with this. This is a Dr. Bronner's organic hair rinse, and I like it because after shampooing my hair gets really dry. My hair is like its natural tendency is to be super dry, and so I usually will have to have something to kind of balance out all of that was kind of stripped away from my hair. And I like this. I feel like it makes a difference. But either way, no matter what, after I put 2 topfuls of this in a cup, fill the cup up with water, mix those together, and then kind of run it through my hair and work it in, rinse it out. And then once it's time to dry my hair, I'll show you what I do after that. I use this, and this is really the final product of what I like consistently like to use. It's castor oil. So for me, castor oil is a complete necessity because of my hair. I have the type of hair that really gets super dry. For those of you who've seen my sister's update, her hair doesn't respond that way, and her hair likes a different type of oil. Her hair doesn't tend to get dry, and so there's definitely different. Of course, there are different things that work for each of us, but this is mine. This is my baby. This works for me. On occasion, when I run out of this and have forgotten to get more, or the store is out, I will go to olive oil if I have to, because my hair really can't afford to go too long without some type of moisturization. Moisturization. I hate that word. Anyway, but so something else that I do when it's time to moisturize my locks, which I should do every other day, but don't do every other day. I should do it probably at least 3-4 days out of the week, but I only do it maybe once or twice. And honestly, once lately. I will wet my hair, even if it means just like quickly, like moving in the shower, like throwing my hair into the shower a little bit for a quick second, or if it means that I go up to the sink and just kind of wet my hair with some water and get my scalp in there. Then I will follow it up by massaging this all through my scalp, all through my locks, and I find that gets the job done for me. That has worked very well for me in terms of keeping my hair from like breaking too much, because I had reached a phase in the loc journey where my hair was starting to really break or feel like really brittle. And I found that this actually worked, which is another nice thing about the journey. I've really had time to figure out what works best for my hair. But I want to hop now into the other part of my routine, which is my night routine. And just so you guys know, like honestly, I don't really do that much for my hair at night. I do have a satin pillowcase that I use sometimes-ish. But I lost it for a little while, so I ended up using cotton. I was just sleeping on a cotton pillowcase, which not a good idea for locks, which tend to love lint and all that kind of stuff and just like soaks it up. But that's just what I did. I do have I also have a silk scarf that I don't cover my head in a scarf, but sometimes I will just pull my hair back and like kind of just tie it around just to keep my hair back, because sometimes actually lately it's so funny because I've never had this problem before. If I'm sleeping, like my hair will get caught under here sometimes and I'll just like yank the hair. I also have had that issue happen when I'm like going to change or something like that, and like I'll feel the hair just go, and I'm like, ooh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, really. I'm sorry, babies. But that happens sometimes. And one thing I also wanted to note, and you guys, you can clearly see it for yourself, for the regular locks that don't make contact with my material, those locks are fine, and I don't really have too much lint problem with the top. The back is a whole other issue. I have a cotton robe that I wear around the house, and for my sophisticated time, cotton robe, and I do notice that it's constantly rubbing. A lot of the materials for any scarves I wear for the winter, like a lot of that rubs. So there's like a whole row of locks the lint just sticks and stays there. I've kind of accepted it as a part of just what happens. I think it is what it is, and it's okay. I'm fine with it, I guess. I'd consider down the line maybe dyeing it a little bit if it gets to be too much. But right now, I don't know. I'm not super concerned about it. But I did want to just share that. I do think if I had more consistently make sure that my hair is a little better protected, and if I use a different type of robe or something like that, then it'll be a little different. But it's okay. I've learned over time not to be as worried about like those types of things as much over time. I don't know. But I also want to just take a step back, and I wanted to just talk through the phases of the lock journey. So for me, there were like 3 major phases, and I'm looking at my notes to make sure that I stay on track with this. For phase 1, year 1, was basically about like, there's a very quick process that I remember just experiencing from that time when I remember seeing budding and seeing little things. And I had done some research on YouTube to make sure I knew what I was getting into. And so I knew budding was going to happen. But I had major freak out moments too, where it was huge puff balls and everything. And I called the loctician who started my locks. I'm like, I don't know, this doesn't look right. I don't understand what's happening. And she's like, it's okay, it'll be fine. But honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really trust the process. And I just wanted to say as a little thought, and if you've seen other videos, maybe you've heard me say this. For those who are early in the lock journey, it's not an easy thing to go through, because you're waiting a long period of time. You're waiting months. I know in my case, I think my hair locked in about 3 months. You're waiting across time to see a big change. Even when I was waiting at that point, I wasn't just waiting for my hair to lock. I was waiting for my hair to look like locks, like classic locks, like this. That's what I wanted. And I remember, I really feel like just the concept of patience is not very easy. And I would not be one to be like, hey, just be patient and it'll be fine. Like, it's not easy. Like, we're used to every other thing being very fast. Usually you can if you are going to get your hair relaxed, you see instant change. If you're going to get like braids, if you're going to get goddess locks, like you can see that change. It may take all day, and you may be sitting around for hours, but either way, at the end of the day, you see exactly what you went in there for. And for locks, it's just not like that. And so I understand that feeling happens, and I just remember that feeling so well. But honestly, I found it best in that early stage really to just interact with the loc community and talking with other people. I know quite a few, I have a few Loc Twins here on YouTube, and we kind of all were going through it at the same time. And it's so cool to be able to talk with those different people and see them also going through these changes as well. So it's really, I found that to be very helpful. And then over time, I kind of forgot, not only did I forget about like watching every single day for changes, but I honestly just started to learn to like what was happening. But it didn't happen just because I was like, just like what happens now. It just kind of snuck in. And then one day I was like, this is fun. Like this is exciting. And there's kind of like a mystery to it because you really don't know necessarily how your individual locs are going to turn out. I know people on here who have gone through multiple sets of locs, and it's different, the different times. And I think it's cool how our hair can just, each set can have its own type of feeling. But yeah, so for me, this is the only time I've done locs. And so like, I just remember that feeling, and then seeing my hair shrinking, like the picture you see in my thumbnail, like for day one, I mean, that wasn't even the shortest period. That's not even when my locs were at their shortest. They shrank up for about 3 or 4 months. And then they reached their shortest period and then started to slowly show growth as the new hair just wanted to shrink, which my hair tends to want to do all the time. That's just like what my hair likes to do. But that brings me to year 2. And year 2 for me was all about just observing the maturity and growth of the hair. So like just really seeing the locs condense more into a more classic locked look. And that's when I started to see a little tiny bit of mobility. I'd go outside and the hair would just be like a slight movement. Just very, very subtle. I'm like, I see some movement there. We're making progress. And it was very exciting and definitely worth celebrating. So I remember that part of year 2. And I'm telling you, I think year 2 flew by in terms of the journey. I didn't really notice it a lot aside from just knowing, I'm going to do an update. Because my plan, I said I told myself I was going to do a loc update every single month for the first 3 years. And I did, although 2 of them got deleted by unfortunate mistake. But it was cool to, it was really cool to, I just forgot what I was going to say. Well, it is what it is. But it really, like, it was so cool to be able to like track that progress of how my locs were doing over time. And then I wanted to talk about year 3, which was all about growth. And for me, like literally, because there's no more changes that like big, massive changes that happened in the locs. At this point, like, I mean, it's just about like, has it grown? And really, when that was the focus, then I could really get to, or when that was like all that was happening at that point, I could really start to learn about what is it that makes my hair healthy. And I could just really start to understand my own hair. And so I remember just, it's just very exciting because I started to like understand like, okay, so my hair can only go this amount of time without moisturizing, and my hair, my ends tend to do this, and it not retwisting does that. Like I just started to like learn a little bit about that and have a better understanding as to why my locs end up having the consistency that they have. Even learning about the different textures from the top and the back of my hair. Like I feel like it was more of the getting to know my hair overall, not just in terms of locs. And so year 3, I really got to do that. Now that being said, like this has been very effortless, and it's I haven't really had to think about my locs that much, but at the same time, they're very much there, and I enjoy them, if that makes sense. Like it's like I'm not like what's going on, what's happening, but at the same time, like, but when I'm like getting ready to do something or going out and stuff like that, like, oh yeah, I know they're there, and I'm happy to rock them. So I want to make sure I have covered all of the major topics. Oh, I did want to say though, it's kind of funny to be doing this update and just like reflecting on the journey, because locs were something I never ever thought I would have before, until the year 2016, when I had a changing moment where I was just like, I need to try something different because what I'm doing is not working. And I had a couple people tell me that I should consider locs, and I'm like, no, absolutely not. Didn't understand them, didn't want them, figured the way that I was doing things was going to work to get me where I wanted to go, which honestly was to see healthy hair and to see growth and what that would be like. And so for me, it's cool because now I've finally gotten to see what makes my hair thrive in the way that it can. And I'm very thankful for that. And I don't have to waste hours of my day, or not hours, minutes and minutes of my day preparing or getting ready to go do something. It's pretty effortless. It really is. So I think those are all the main things that I really have wanted to talk about for this. I really am thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for the community here. When I took a chance in that first month, YouTube was my very first type of social media interaction with people I did not know at all. Literally, I mentioned this in my last video, I think, but I did not know anyone until I didn't know anyone that followed me except for one person who was just following me, I think more for moral support, I guess. But you guys have been awesome, and I love seeing your comments. I love hearing from you guys and hearing what's going on. Oh, by the way, I actually am now active on Instagram, and I also just made my account public finally. So my Instagram information is down below. If you would like to follow me, feel free. And also, if you've made it this far in the video, then maybe you'd be curious to know that I actually am working on another channel. And I didn't want to officially announce or anything like that, but I will leave the link below for those of you who happen to stay for this long into the video, because I know, wow, we are 22 minutes. So if you stayed this long, thank you. So feel free to check that out. I'd love to have you over there. I'm just getting warmed up, and and I'll be having more content coming out soon. But I'm really thankful, guys. I'm thankful for you guys, thankful for the journey, and I will be continuing to come around with my loc updates. They won't be as frequent, of course, as they were my first 3 years, because there isn't too much change, but I'm around, and I even have a couple of videos that I do want to do in between those. So I'll be here. Feel free always to leave any questions, comments, anything down below, and you guys know I'm here, and I'll respond. So I look forward to hearing from you guys. And I also hope that you guys are staying safe and staying healthy out there in the midst of all that's going on. But thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your support and encouragement throughout this journey. And I will talk with you guys very soon. Bye for now.